Sorcerer, released in 1983 for the Atari 2600 video computer system courtesy of Mythicon, whose primary claim to fame around these parts is that they are responsible for one of the worst games to grace the old VCS, a little game by the name of Firefly. We've looked at Firefly ages ago and it was pretty bad. And now we look at Sorcerer, and first screen has some dude trying to catch a flying carpet so he could ride it. And once he does, he moves on to the next screen, and you have a trio of enemies moving erratically, shooting at you and sometimes upwards. And if you shoot one of them down, they all die and leave behind an item of some sort. And you move on to the next screen and the process repeats itself. Now, if this seems somewhat familiar, it's because this is pretty much the same game as Firefly, the aforementioned atrocious Atari 2600 video game. And, well, what can I say? They may have changed the colors, but the gameplay is still shit. Now, in fairness, Sorcerer does a couple things differently. Every few screens, you'll face off against a cloud that will throw lightning your way that you have to dodge, and you can either get past him and move to the right to proceed to the next screen, or wait it out and get one of the many worthless and interchangeable treasures that enemies leave behind, and so that's a thing it does. Also, if you don't get the carpet at the beginning and you proceed onwards, you'll be largely grounded, which makes this incredibly frustrating game even more frustrating than before, but that is a choice if you don't want the carpet to fly around and make this game play more like Firefly, or rather worse than Firefly. Besides that, same old shit, different day. Much like the Firefly game, the cycle repeats itself, doesn't seem to get any harder, it just eats away at your will to live the longer you play this pile. Control in Firefly, Sorcerer, well, the stick works, you can move around and shoot. Note that I didn't say it worked well, only that it works, make of that what you will. Allegedly, Firefly could also be played with a trackball controller, and I don't know if that's the case with Sorcerer, as I do not have a trackball controller. I also really don't care. Conceptually, practically, theoretically, existentially, the gameplay as a whole is absolutely horrid and devoid of merit. I hear people try to convince themselves it's not as bad as Firefly. These people are deluding themselves, obviously. Graphically, Sorcerer... The game shares enemy assets with Firefly, which are indecipherable forms you can't make out, but your little sorcerer person actually does resemble some sort of humanoid character, and there are actual humanoid enemies that you'll fight every so often. And the cloud actually looks like a cloud, so points for effort, I suppose. The droning music in the background is unnervingly awful, but it's not as bad as the droning noise of Firefly, so again, that's a step up for whatever it's worth. Not much, I suppose. Overall, Sorcerer on the Atari 2600 is just a reskinned Firefly. It has a couple changes here and there that make it slightly different from the other game, but it serves as an example of no matter how much you try to dress up shit so it doesn't look like shit, at the end of the day, it's still shit. I don't know what Doobie's Aqualung was smoking when he gave this thing a C, but if I had a choice between playing Sorcerer, Firefly, or skinny dipping into an active volcano, motherfucker, I'm picking the volcano. Enough said. Good night.